Anyway, it's one thing for Pharaoh to assume that Moses was simply predicting, but when the Lord now puts a division between the Egyptians and the Hebrews, the Egyptians are afflicted, the Hebrews are not, that's got to be an unnerving report to get from your intelligence sources, that the Hebrews aren't bothered, it's just us. That's got to start bothering Pharaoh. Verse 25, and Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron. He said, go ye, sacrifice to your God in the land. Moses said, it is not proper so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and will they not stone us? Now, you may be wondering what's going on. In Genesis, you'll discover that shepherds are an abomination to the Egyptians. Part of their thing was to consider shepherdry, and certainly the offering of a lamb, an abomination. And that's what they're going to do. And Moses is saying, do you want to do that before your eyes, or you want to send us out 3 days' journey like we asked for? Verse 27, we will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, and he shall command us. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go that you may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness, only ye shall not go very far away. Entreat for me. Pharaoh is trying to compromise. Okay, you can go, but don't go 3 days away. Just don't go that far away. I'll let you go, I'll let you sacrifice and do your thing, but not quite all the way. God will say that to you too. He'll ask you to do something, I should say, you may say that to him. Well, I'll go almost all the way. Like Abraham, I won't go, I'll leave Ur of the Chaldees and I'll go upriver a bit. I'm not going to go I'll just go up to Haran. Upriver a bit. How many of us are that way? We haven't gone 3 days' journey in the wilderness. We haven't gone on to resurrection ground. All we've done is sort of maybe move away a little bit. It's a token effort. You shall not go very far away. Entreat for me, Pharaoh says. Verse 29, and Moses said, behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat the Lord that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated for the Lord. The Lord did according to the word of Moses, and he removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. There remained not one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time, neither would he let the people go. Did God really accept the compromise? No, not really. He knows Pharaoh is going to renege, and he's got a few more on his schedule. Okay? A few more of these things on his schedule. Well, let's just keep going. Chapter 9, verse 1, and the Lord said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh, and tell him, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and will hold them still, behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon thy horses, and upon thy asses, and upon the camels, and upon the oxen, upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous plague. And the Lord shall separate between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt. And there shall nothing die of all that belongs to the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the next day, and all the cattle of Egypt died, and of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, that he did not let the people go. We look at him, and we almost have to express amazement that this guy, after seeing all this, could be that stubborn. Many people react when the movie, The Ten Commandments, was popular, and many people see that movie. They just could not get over how this people, especially after all those miracles, they go out in the wilderness, then they fall away again. You see all the incredible things that God did with them, and yet we just get amazed at Pharaoh's stubbornness on the one hand, the Israelites' subsequent unbelief on the other. And yet as we do that, I wonder how many of us are even in a more embarrassing predicament than they were. Because we have all of this plus long, long lists, not the least of which is the giving of Jesus Christ himself. And we wonder just how stubborn can man be, how headstrong, how hardened can his heart be, as to not recognize what God is trying to say to each one of us. Verse 8, and the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward heaven in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and there shall be a boil breaking forth with ulcers upon man, upon beast, throughout all the land of Egypt. They took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with ulcers upon man and upon beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of all the boils, for the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. I beg your pardon, I guess the magicians are mentioned one more time here. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. There are some scholars that believe that the furnace refers here to an altar to Typhon, which was a embodiment of a basic evil principle, and it involved human sacrifice, just as a background item. So the ashes they're throwing may be there more may be meant there than we're probably giving recognition to, just by a quick reading of it. Verse 13, the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send